5 years ago, the world shut down overnight. 3 years ago, AI was unleashed, and today it's spreading into every part of our lives. And by 2030, everything you know about work, about information, about society could collapse, and in this video I'll show you why we are not ready. So with AI, where are we right now? Unless you're watching this from the future, maybe 2030, which if you are, hopefully I managed to predict the future. But right now, AI feels exciting. You can write novels with it, you can generate custom apps with one single prompt, and you can even create images of yourself that look identical to the real you. Here's J.AI, looks exactly like me, but it's not actually real. Whatever you've used it for so far, most people still see it as an optional tool, something that you can just pick up or ignore. But that is an illusion, and it's not going to last for much longer. GPT 3.5 was the first model released by OpenAI. Picture it as a small sphere. Here's it next to GPT-4, and again next to GPT-5. And what this shows is AI isn't improving at a slow rate. It is improving at a rapid rate that is on an exponential curve. And what amplifies this even further is big tech companies like XAI, OpenAI, Meta, Claude. They're all competing to get to AGI first, which is when an AI is smarter than you and I. So why aren't we ready for this future? Well, let me tell you a story. In World War II, fighter planes would return back from battle absolutely covered in bullets, with their wings shredded, with the fuselage torn apart. The military's first instinct was to cover up these areas with more armor. I mean, logically, it made the most sense, right? I mean, these were the areas where the planes were getting shot the most. Until a statistician came along and he spotted something that everyone else missed. These were the planes that were coming back home. But the planes that were hit in the cockpit or the engine, those were the planes that never made it back. And this blind spot is what we call survivorship bias. Right now, everyone wants to talk about the upside of AI, and I'm also guilty of this. If you've seen any of my other videos, I talk about the optimistic side of AI quite a lot. But the other day, I read a comment that really stuck with me. Someone left a comment saying how in 2130, it will be nice when AI can do everything that we can do, but what about in the immediate future? What about next year? What about if AI replaces my job now? What am I going to do to afford healthcare, to afford paying for the bills? One person who has thought about this more than anyone else is Ilya Sutskever. I hope I said that surname correctly, and he was part of the original OpenAI team. He actually led the creation of ChatGPT, and he actually left OpenAI last year. But recently he did a speech at the University of Toronto, and here's what he had to say about the future.
Slowly but surely, or maybe not so slowly, AI will keep getting better. And the day will come when AI will do all the things that we can do, but all of them. Anything which I can learn, anything which any one of you can learn, the AI could do as well.
And his reasoning was that AI is modeled after the human brain. So anything that we can do, it will be able to do, because it's just a digital version of the brain. And this means that it's not just customer support or accounting or any sort of repetitive job that will be replaced. It's anything that requires any intellectual effort. So how do we predict where we'll be in 5 years? Well, the answer is pretty simple. You just look at the past. With the internet, it took almost 3 decades to reach half of the population. Smartphones took just over a decade, and AI is spreading even faster. And the trend is pretty clear. Each new technology spreads faster than the last. But why is that? Why does everything speed up over time? Well, there are 3 big reasons, and the first one is Moore's law, which is where Gordon Moore noticed that the number of transistors in a chip doubled almost every 2 years. And this meant that over time, computers would become more powerful and cheaper at the same time. The second one is network effects, which is where the more people who use a technology, the better it naturally gets. For example, take Facebook. When it first got released and there was only a few thousand users on it, it was very different to what it looks like today when your entire family is on it. And the third and last reason is compounding innovation, which is where every major breakthrough creates the building blocks for the next major breakthrough. For example, the internet influenced the creation of smartphones, where you can access the internet from your pocket, and then smartphones enabled us to create apps like social media, and then all that data in between became fuel for our modern day AI. But how intelligent will AI be by 2030? Well, it's very likely, like Elon said, that we could reach AGI by that time. Right now, AI's biggest limitation is agency, its ability to set its own goals and complete a project from start to finish. But by 2030, that line will blur. You probably won't be working alone. you'll likely be working alongside AI co-workers. For example, take software engineering. Now, I remember when I was a kid and I wanted to learn how to code, and I was reading all these large instruction manuals on how to write Python code and learning all the syntax inside and out, and it was really boring, and these were only for very simple scripts as well. But fast forward to now, and you don't even have to know the syntax. You can just describe what you want and AI will build it instantaneously. And if you think it's advanced now, by 2030 it's only going to be even more so. It won't just mean quicker coding, it will mean entire websites, apps, projects are completely run and taken care of by AI, which will mean less software engineers will be needed. In fact, maybe we don't even write software anymore in that future. In that future, the very definition of skilled work will probably change, because intelligence won't be as rare as it used to be in the past. We'll probably see entire companies, even billion-dollar companies, run by AI, from accounting to customer service to product design, and this could lead to the whole economy being reconstructed. That's why what's coming is unlike any transformation that's happened in history, because we have no idea how society will react when this change occurs. A lot of jobs will no longer be needed, and obviously new ones will be created, but if AI runs the entire economy, what does that mean for us? What do we do? Do we just create or consume? And then there's information. Imagine by 2030 you're scrolling on your feed and every video, every photo, every headline you question whether it was AI generated or if it's real. Even I do this today, and I'm sure you've had moments where you've seen something on social media and you've had to take a second look and actually realize that it's actually AI generated. And finally, connection. Someone else left a comment the other day on another one of my videos saying how we are officially doomed when people decide to go with an android over a human when it comes to relationships. And I think maybe even by 2030 that option will start to become available to a lot of people. Pause. No, we are not doomed. Yes, it can feel overwhelming, and yes, we are already past the event horizon of the black hole and there's no going back. But the first step isn't to fight it, but to accept it. To accept that many jobs, maybe even yours, will be replaced by AI at some point in the future. And that's not new. I mean, have you ever heard of a knocker-up? Because neither did I before I created this video. But they were essentially people who would walk around in the morning at dusk and they would knock on windows to wake people up, and this was before alarm clocks were invented. Or take lamplighters who lit every street lamp at dusk, or travel agents who would help you with booking your holiday. All of them were real jobs until technology made them obsolete. Alarms replaced the knocker-up, electricity replaced the lamplighters, and the internet replaced most travel agents. And you and I never grew up with lamplighters or knocker-ups. But imagine today you couldn't use an alarm clock. Imagine at night you had to walk through every single room and light the candles yourself. AI is the same story, just on a bigger scale. And I get why there's a lot of fear around it, because it's going to induce change and we tend to project the negative outcomes more than the positive ones, but there definitely are some positive outcomes that could come from this new technology. By 2030, what if you never have to do boring, repetitive work again? What if instead you had the freedom to build something of your own, where AI employees can take care of all the mundane, repetitive things that you don't want to do yourself? Maybe it's customer support, maybe it's accounting, maybe it's building the product or learning the technical details, but you'll be in a position where you can create whatever you can think of. And if we look beyond 2030, even further into the future where robots are introduced into the picture, you'll no longer have to deal with some of the small frustrations on your day-to-day. No more mowing the lawn, washing the car, scrubbing the kitchen. All of that will be taken care of by AI. Yes, it will feel strange at first, but like with anything that's ever been introduced, you'll learn and you'll adapt. I mean, that is why we are at the top of the food chain. But the question isn't whether or not we'll be ready by 2030. The question is, will you be ready? Will you start using AI in your day-to-day life, in your work, and everything else that you do? And will you start running towards this technology and not away from it? Unless you are watching this 5 years from now, which if that's the case, hopefully it's not too bad over there. But yeah, that's been J.AI. Thanks for watching if you still are. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.